blessed me to witness how she journeyed and experienced our little part of gift that we were able to give her. But it was really, I think, the ability to bring a different way of thinking and feeling and being in relationship to God that really was the reason for the transformation.
We found that it was pastoral leaders were not willing to share their financial issues with their congregations. And so in any rural area or any area, when people know there's a need, they'll respond. And so that's where I think we were successful in facilitating that conversation with donors who could make a difference and wanted to make a difference, but they had no clue that financial hardships their pastors were going through. So that's where we were successful.
How did you break through the shame and the guilt?
I asked him. I called him and asked him. I said, I want you to apply for this. And he immediately says, well, I don't have any data. My church put me through a seminary. Or they said, well, I owe $100,000. How can you help me? How about if we pay it off? Would that work?
Spiritually, how were you able to connect the passion of the donor, the giver, with the need that you were expressing for the pastor?
One of my favorite stories is a lady named Maggie, who she just loves seminary scholarships. Loves seminary scholarships. And again, I asked all the pastors who received a seminary scholarship to write a thank you. And so she does not drive, so I took her to the pastor's ordination of one of her seminary scholarships. And as I introduced her to her recipient from 4 years ago, she was still carrying the thank you that the pastor had written. She carried it in her purse everywhere. That's the connection. That connection between the pastor and the donor is unbelievable. I'll tell you a story tomorrow about one of our. The whole group will hear that story about Oscar and Clarence.
So you worked with Bishop Pitt.
He was in North Dakota, and I'm in South Dakota. And so he had a plan-giving person named Julie Johnson, and she covered eastern North Dakota, and I covered all of South Dakota. And so we met. I met Noah and Rick for decades. So that's how I got it. So he knew I was working on this, and so we met here a few weeks ago and asked me if I'd come. That's why I'm here.
So imagine life hasn't been 100% easy. Like, what have been like one or two of the major challenges that you've engaged, and whether or not you've been able to overcome them doesn't quite matter. But can you share some of those challenges?
I think I think the churches can do anything if everybody's talking about the same thing. I just think fundraising is that they need to see, and that goes right down to the congregation, that the leadership is absolutely in with the program, that the leadership is making gifts, they're public about it, and this is why we ought to be doing it. I think that was the challenge of getting our leaders to be the leaders, not only financially, but talking about it. And just by every time the bishop got up, he knew I was standing in the back of the room. Okay, I want to hear your pitch right now, your elevator speech about why pastoral support is so important. And then everybody in the room would catch on. He got so sick of me.
I have a small question for both Iva and Jen. We all get tired. When you're really getting tired, because we're just our beautiful human self, what do you do to replenish yourself, to get back up and get back out there?
One thing I do is I read thank yous as I cry, and then I go see some of the donors that I've had the longest relationship with, and they'll drag me out of any hole. They are just such an inspiration to me. I have three I go see.
I usually probably do something in solitude where I search for the water or for butterflies His presence in the small things, and then thinking very deeply about the journey of our foreparents who survived the travail of the slave trade. And I have a wall of quarter and a home of pictures of sheroes that are constant reminders. And so it's like I dare not have the temerity to really, really be tired, given what I know has gone before.
Could you go back to the previous question and talk about some of your challenges as well?
Well, I think that speaks to part of the challenge. Part of the challenge is working in low-income communities where you have wounded victims, right, as pastoral leaders trying to pastor to wounded people who have been victimized generationally. And so it's how do you then figure out how to penetrate the pastoral leader's sense of I'm in this with you and I should have no more privilege than you, right? And at the same time, how to penetrate a notion that if you're not whole and well and healed, it's going to be difficult for you to help others to be that. And then to just help people take time to acknowledge the emotional assault that many of us experience on a regular basis that goes uncounted, unnoticed, as a lack of being not a factor in what it means to navigate a 24-hour period. Everything from processing what you hear, what you see on the television to the experience you have in the elevator. What that looks like for the people who come to you on Sunday or with an issue, etc., but also what it means for you to carry your own woundedness around. So that's really a
How long have you been on your journey, Jim? Connecting folk with their passion to give.
About 30 years. As a professional fundraiser for 20 of them, and then a church leader, a lay, is elected to be the senator or the president of the council of the South Dakota, which was ranking lay person. So I've been doing this for a long time.
I see.
yes.
How long have you been traveling on this journey?
On this initiative or since its inception, but on the journey of fundraising?
Let's just put both
It's
of them.
very different because I don't
Because I appreciate it.
But in order for me to fulfill the objectives of the ministry and what I have been doing, I have had to fundraise.
Yes.
And it has not been fun, F-U-N, but it has been rewarding and delightful, but certainly challenging. And it's become increasingly more challenging.
One of my a mentor of mine told me long ago, your job is to ask and let people make a decision. That I'm not raising money, I'm asking people to make a decision. And no is an answer. That's fine. It's a legitimate answer. Just because I'm in their house at a certain time doesn't mean it's their call to answer.
My mentor told me, don't look like you're asking for yourself.
Nope.
Make that very clear.
The two of you, and I turn to Bea because she does fundraising and development for us, and you, Jim, for long term. When you read the quote that said fundraising is a ministry, have you primarily viewed fundraising in that way? Because that was one of the things that really stood out, that it's a ministry and that we must ask others to participate in our vision and share that with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very much. I actually was brought into fundraising. I started out in pharmaceuticals. I was brought into fundraising by a Lutheran. And I frankly say that the commitment to the work for me is more of the excitement of doing the Lord's work is frankly what I can't control. It's just asking the best I can and then being quiet and listening and trying to get a sense of this is why I give and why it's important for me to give. And then in doing that, hopefully, as I say, I always pray before I go in because it is the Lord's work is what I say. And I always share with folks, I don't really care if they remember anything about me. I do care if they got that the passion that they care so much about is being fulfilled by the work of this organization that I'm representing.
My expertise was in planned giving. So trusts, wills, estates, annuities, all that kind of stuff, transfer of assets. And so I raised for anybody. It was their mission that they wanted to support it. I was hired by the Luther organization, but still they gave to, my job was to get them to consider a gift. Do something.
What was your biggest surprise? Planned gift. One of your biggest surprises.
Probably wasn't, I went in to ask for, one of the few times we were asking for scholarship donations, and I went in with a letter, and I was given a list of names of people to go ask, which is very hard for me to do, to ask for dollars. It was a very challenge. So I went with a letter for a request for $100,000, and I left with $1 million. And I wondered if it would have been appropriate to eat the letter I'd written, you know. I didn't say a number when I had the letter in my pocket, but I hadn't said a number, and the wife said to her husband, yes, we'd like to make a gift, and he looks at her and says, we think $500,000 would be appropriate, and she doesn't even wink, she doesn't even move, and he turns back and says, no, I guess it'll be $1 million. See, they'd already had this discussion. So they funded a full ride, and they endowed a seminary scholarship for perpetuity of that $1 million. That's cool.
Well, Arva, in your journeys, I bet you've had a few surprises yourself. So, something that you never thought, you didn't even see it coming, but God gave it to you anyway. Could you talk about something like that happened in your life?
I think this Lily program and initiative was a surprise I did not see coming. They sought me out reputationally, and so it has turned into being a pivotal, transformative investment in us that has allowed us to be free to think creatively and innovatively
your energy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you still have to do a video, please continue to do that.
Did not expect it.
But if your table is ready for a
The whole
transition,
ministry of the Proctor Conference,
you
which
could
was
start
born out
asking
of
each
a
other
conversation,
what that you have
almost like,
heard
can we test
is
to see
similar
what we think is true
to what
is
I
true?
expected.
There's a felt need.
and what that we've heard at the table is maybe different from what I expected or what I came into this event with, okay? So just to repeat, if you need a little more time to do your interviews, go ahead and do that. But if your table's ready to transition, start reflecting on what you heard in the interviews, okay? And have a time of conversation. What did I hear in the interview that corresponded with my hopes or my expectations or my reasons for being here? And what might have been different or surprising, okay? So a little bit longer to do that. And since you're all quiet, I have one quick thing to say. You surprised me, you got so quiet. I inadvertently omitted the Missouri United Methodist Foundation. And so they need their own special round of applause. Missouri! My profound apologies. It was right there on my list. I just skated over it. So, age and contact lenses. Here we go. All right, so reflect on what you heard. What's similar to what you brought in? What was different or surprising? Go.
Finish this video. I'd like to take us through you and your theology.
I'll just say I'm excited because I'm an ordained minister myself. I enjoy supporting ministers who are in the business. I love working with the social justice organization, which is working with Dr. Crothers. And equally important, as you all have shared about money and ministry, I know how challenging it is for ministers in the African American community who are obtaining the degrees in the MDiv programs, the doctoral ministry programs, to come out with this $100,000 plus debt, and anything that we can do that would encourage them, that continues to build and renew the African American community is important to me.
I guess we're all done.
Done.
Marquita, what would you like to say as the videographer?
Saeed, what did you learn from the conversation?
Now this we don't have to go on video.
Yeah, you don't have to record.
No, we might as well document it all. Go ahead.
So my entree into fundraising has started off with academic medicine work, living in that space. I feel like we're also talking about me. I've been pastoring for over 20 years now. I've never been at a church that's been able to pay me a salary that I could live off of. As a matter of fact, two of the churches couldn't pay me a salary at all. Where I'm currently at right now, it's the most money I've ever made, and it's still not enough to live off of for a family of four. And so for me, it's always good and refreshing to hear people who are acknowledging the life that I'm living. I think even for people who are in churches that are struggling with finances, they don't quite know how to deal with the fact that the majority of pastors nowadays can't live the full-time life, but they still have the full-time expectations. Well, why can't you live 5 miles from the church? Because I have to be where my family can live and where I can have a job at. Why can't you be here every day? Because you can't afford to sustain a full-time salary for me. Why can't you do all the work, Pastor? And it's because, well, one, that's never been God's idea for a church anyway. But second of all, it's really important for us to thrive as a church that we all walk in the vision and the charge that we have. And so for me, the greatest thing is just people not being ignorant, quiet, suppressing the reality that I'm living. And it's so encouraging to hear. And I think in one sense, I wish that I could hear more of these stories, share more of them. I got friends that are Lutheran as well. I'm able to direct folks into resources that can be really appropriate for them.
Marquita, we're going to take your here.
What have you experienced from this day?
So I bring some experience as a major gifts officer and through Lilly training, and I realize that it is a ministry and it's one that I believe in. So helping to clear clergy debt and to help our community is what I'm here to do. I also understand it from the perspective of a pastor in a rural community and what that looks like to have to drive back and forth to and from town, and the same questions that you raised about why can't you be here every day and all of that, and still have to have a full-time position to take care of at the time when I'm taking care of what my family needs, right? And so then what does it look like when we talk about a theology of sufficiency, that there is enough? What does that mean to leave the church and not say, God, how am I going to make it if I don't do this and have this employment? What does that look like going forward? And so the words that came to me today were trust the Lord and trust in the Lord. And when the song Be Still My Soul, when we sang it, the key that stuck out for me was that the waves and the winds still know. And if they still know the voice of God, then I need to make sure that I know it as well. And to never think that this is work that I do, is work I've been sent to do. And when you asked about the largest gifts, I think the largest gift I was able to receive was like $300,000 from a former president of the university where I served. And I was excited about the gift, but I also had some challenges with it on the other side. But I was very excited about receiving it. So that's why I'm here, to see what we can do in terms of helping African American clergy.
Wow.
Thank you.
So thank you all for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And praise